All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA regular season video. We have two really good games to talk about. The Orlando Magic heading over to Atlanta to play the Hawks, and we have the Oklahoma City Thunder, the defending champs, in LA in the Intuit Dome to play the LA Clippers. We're going to talk about these two games. We're going to talk about Wolves Nets a little bit, just a little bit. Um, talk about some injury updates as well. Um, Maybe some other stuff that pops into my head. If you like what I've said, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. All right, so the first thing on the table today, we're going to talk about Magic Hawks here. And Magic Hawks on the left side of your screen. There's a lot of stuff that went on this game, and there's a lot of early season, I wouldn't want to say overreactions, just reactions to how the Orlando Magic have been playing basketball, how the Atlanta Hawks have been adjusting to playing basketball without Trae Young, their superstar. He's out with an MCL strain, so they're going to have to gut out probably a dozen or so games without him. Um, but the Hawks looked way better than the Magic ever did. And the Magic are fully healthy. There's nothing wrong with them except the way they play basketball. And we're going to get into that right now. This game was last night, so let me pull this one over here. So yeah, the Atlanta Hawks won this game 127 to the Atlanta Magic's 112. The final score does not really tell you the full story. The Atlanta Magic kind of made it a little more competitive down the stretch. Um, Coach, I think it's Jamal Mosley. Jamal Mosley pulled a lot of his stars early, but they were still out there. They still played at least a little bit in the fourth to make it look a little bit more respectable of a final score. But I want to run through some of my notes here. I take notes during these games, and then we'll get into the stats and everything. Um, the first note I have, and this has been a talking point previous to tonight or last night. People are like, oh, the Atlanta Magic, they look really good. They look all sort of weird, like they don't have a real point guard, this and that, the third. Paulo really hasn't taken that step like a lot of people thought he would. Is there a picture of Paulo? Yeah, Paulo, middle left of your screen right here. Um, hasn't really taken the step. Franz looks decent. Just looks like he's himself from last year, maybe a bit more defensively competitive. Um, but the first note I have here from this game is the Magic are all out of whack, and that basic I could have written one note for this whole game, and that is how I would describe the Magic. That's literally this whole game for the Magic was they were just out of whack. They looked bad. They did not look good, and you might say, well, this is the last game of like a 5 game road trip. They're about to go home. Their heads aren't really in it. This is a division rival. This is somebody you have to see pretty often. They've already seen them a couple times. They've seen them 2 times. I think the next time they see them is March, is what they said on the broadcast. So this is the last time you're going to get a look at this team, this Atlanta Hawks team, this vulnerable probably. Um, my next note here is that where is he? Tyus Jones is the only real guard on this team. Tyus Jones did not play particularly well, but he at least attempted to set other people up. He attempted to run the offense. He attempted to at least bring some semblance of stability to this team where they really didn't have anything going. Um, Tyus Jones, 8 minutes, 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds, 0 in all statistical categories almost, except 0 rebounds, except 4 rebounds and 3 assists, or 1 assist. Pardon me, I went to the next guy. My bad. So no points, no rebounds for Tyus, only 1 assist, but at least he looked like a point guard out there. And this is gonna be a big thing throughout this section of the video is me talking about the Magic not having a point guard. And I was having a conversation with somebody on Instagram, and we were going back and forth, and I was like, I don't really need a point guard. They just need Paulo to play better. The team needs to play better. And Paulo is trying to be a player. Paulo is fading into one of those players that is thinks he's one player, but he should actually be playing like another player. Like he thinks he's like Kevin Durant out there or something. when he should be more like, and this is not, he's not my favorite player of all time, but he should be more like Carmelo Anthony, you know? Like, the, the, the thing about trying to be Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant takes these wild shots, and he takes these shots that are almost improbable to make, but he makes them at such a good clip. He makes them at such a good percentage, and you would think, oh, he needs to be more like KD. I think being more like Melo is more instinctive for him. And the thing about Melo and why Melo sort of faded off in the end of his career was he wasn't athletic enough. He didn't play enough defense. He didn't rebound as much. Those are the things Paulo does, you know? And those are the things Paulo is always good at. Um, Last night, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 0 blocks. Um, he does the extra things that you want your star player to do, but he's like in this mode of like, I need to shoot this three now, just so I can say I shot a three, or I need to take this turnaround hard fade away, just so I can prove I can do it. And he doesn't really seem comfortable. And the thing I really settled on was he probably does need to calm down a little bit, probably needs to fit more into a role. He needs to have less on his shoulders, but they probably also do need a point guard. And the thing I thought was like, oh, Franz Wagner is more of like a point forward sort of guy. You know, he obviously can score the ball, 18 points last night. Second leading, was his third leading score for the team yesterday for the Magic. 2 assists, 5 rebounds. Can't shoot the three. Paulo can't shoot the three either. And last year they were a terrible 3-point shooting team. And you thought this year, oh, they might be a little bit better. You know, year older. You know, obviously Franz playing in the World Cup and everything like that. You know, World Cup. I forget what it was. Playing for his national team. Um, Looked more confident. Looked more solid. He just didn't. He hasn't looked great. And we'll get to the other guys here in a minute. The next note I have here is the 3-point shot sucks for the Magic. So we already covered that. My next thing, talking about Paulo some more. Um, Paulo was so disrespected by the Hawks this game because they knew he could shoot a three. They knew at some point he didn't want to shoot a three, and they would literally like if he was standing at the 3-point line and the defender that they didn't want on him was on him, the defender would literally wave over to the next guy behind him. They would switch, and Paulo still wouldn't like drive it to the basket or take the three. He would just stand there for a good like just waiting for the defender to like switch the primary defender that would normally be on him to get back on him, and he was just left hanging at the 3-point line. He was just hanging out there, just standing there, and he stood there like a statue, and it was very alarming. And this was a big knock that I had on Cooper Flag when he was at Duke, and Paul is obviously another Duke alumni. Um, I don't know if it's because of Duke, but the continuing line is that they both went to Duke is that they just stand around. Sometimes they're just standing around. They're just doing nothing, doing a whole lot of nothing. Especially with the ball in their hand, they're just standing, standing, standing. It's like, come on, move the ball. Let's go. I know you're waiting for this thing to develop, this action to develop. You know, these gadget um, plays to develop, but come on, man, let's move the ball. Let's do something. You know, pass it to the other guy next to you. Something. Um, they did. The Magic did come alive. Um, After the Hawks beat them most of the game, um, most of the game so far. There was 4 minutes left and 30 seconds when I wrote this, so they made some sort of run, and it would be an indicative Orlando Magic 23 points and 24 points in the first and second quarter, and then the Atlanta Hawks 32 in the first, 32 in the second. So pretty tightly contested. Um, this is going into the second half. The Hawks were still up at half. The Hawks lost a little pace, but the Magic simply just can't capitalize on some of the good things. Um, really can't capitalize some of the good, but not great offensively. Um, and this sort of falls on the shoulders of the next game I want to talk about. And Another guy I want to talk about who actually did start to heat up at the end of the game, make the score look a little bit more respectable. Um, Obviously, we talked about Paulo, 22 points, Franz, 18. Wendell Carter's there with 11. Did not shoot the three ball well either this game. And then, yeah, Desmond Bain, their offseason acquisition. Um, hasn't played particularly well, played okay enough, I guess, but this game was just a frustrating game for this whole team, and he was visibly frustrated and actively frustrated. Ended the game only playing 23 minutes, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers. Was it 2 of 4 from three, 2 of 6 overall from field goal, and he got ejected because he fouled top left of your screen. He fouled the neck of Kungwu midair, pushed him to the ground, and then was trying to like keep the ball in bounds and just threw it off, threw it off his head. And in real time, it was so funny. But afterwards, you could be like, you thought about it, was like he was just so frustrated. This team was having such a bad night. He just wanted to go home. Last game of a road trip, he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go home. I'm just gonna sit in the locker room and then we're gonna go home. Um, not Desmond Bane's brightest moment. Maybe I think otherwise he could have thought it would have rallied the team, like got the team going, and it didn't. Jalen Suggs also in this game ended the game with 12 points, 2 of 3 from three. Those were almost all in the fourth quarter. 3 steals, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Basically what you want from Jalen Suggs. And then nobody else off the bench. um, really did anything except one guy. We'll get to him in a second. After the Desmond Bain ejection, like I said, you thought maybe it would rally the team, would hype the team up. No, the Magic were just dead on the feet. They were just completely dead on their feet. Defensively, they lost their spark. Offensively, they barely had any spark, so they had nothing to lose there. And then just mentally, they were just beaten down by this point. Um, the other thing I want to talk about, another player I want to talk about, a player that was really high on last year that I grew to really like when I watched this Magic team, um, was Tristan da Silva. And the note I have here is I still love Tristan da Silva. And Tristan da Silva ended the game with 20 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, um, 5 from three, and 8 of 11 from field goal. One of the better players from this night, and one of the more efficient players from this night. Number 23, Tristan da Silva. Love that guy. He needs more minutes. He needs more minutes. Um, and I'll skip this and we'll go to the next one. Suggs started to cook in the fourth quarter, like I alluded to. Had some really critical threes, and it felt like maybe they could have made a little bit of a push. And they sort of felt alive coming down the stretch, and then they just lost it again. Defensive lapses, fouls, balls going out of bounds. Just didn't have it. There wasn't enough time, and they didn't have enough energy to get it done. And by energy, I mean just like the the culmination of turning defense into offense, or getting a steal and turning down the offense, or whatever you think is a good basketball momentum changer didn't happen for the Magic. It came and went so quickly that they just couldn't capitalize on it. And the other note I have here, the other thing that always gets talked about, especially when a team starts out bad, is oh, you just fire the coach. The coach is the problem. Um, and I wasn't really a firm proponent of that previous to this game. Like I said, this game was sort of um, well, I didn't say this. This game was sort of a barometer for me to finally see the Magic, against a maybe somewhat competitive team. Somebody on their level that maybe we know they could all beat, an injured Hawks team. We'll talk about the Hawks here in a minute because I don't have a lot of notes about the Hawks because they played well. There was nothing to talk about. They were just playing well. Well, the thing for the Magic though, in this sort of like a plague on most of the NBA is um, it's a lot of drive and kick offense. It's a lot of drive and kick. There's a lot of getting downhill, kicking the ball out, making the extra pass. Simple stuff, but also stuff that has been in the NBA for a long time that the Warriors really pioneered or brought into the next decade here, the next 2 decades, is like you get a guy downhill, you get a couple shooters, um, you get a couple athletic guys, you get a you get a good defender off the bench, a good big man, and that's a winning culture, right? That's a winning offense. That doesn't work for the Magic. My note here is that the drive and kick offense doesn't work for the Magic. They need something more exotic, and the continuation of this note is that might need to start having a conversation about the coach. And here's the thing, right? You can think of this two ways. Um, well, Desmond Bain is new. We have to start fitting him in. Obviously, Franz and Paulo haven't taken that step that you thought they could. Maybe that will change coming down the stretch. Some teams start hot, some teams start cold. Maybe they'll turn it around. These are all things that you hope. You hope or and you hope some of these things can change as well. Um, the bench isn't being used well. That's on the coach. Some of these guys do some really good things. Like I said, Tristan De Silva played 25 minutes, but maybe he should be starting. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Um, you've guys like Jet Howard, who was a positive, made 1 3. That's a positive for this game. Anthony Black, 7 points. He did have two personal fouls, right? Yeah, two personal fouls in 26 minutes. Not great. Um, and you have guys who just like are net neutrals. Like Goga Badatse is a net neutral. Like he's gonna give you some really spectacular stuff sometimes. Some like niche like role player big stuff. Net neutral this game. Nothing. Jonathan Isaac, he might be the longest tenured Magic on this team right now, which is crazy to say. I remember when he got drafted. 9 points, 9 minutes, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 turnovers, 0 blocks, 0 steals. Used to be known as a defender. There's a point in which maybe I wouldn't fire the coach quite yet. I would encourage him to be like, hey, we need to move this offense forward. We can't just keep running this stagnant offense. Um, Even the 3 point shot sucks, which Desmond Bain was supposed to fix, hasn't fixed yet. Um, Shooters off the bench aren't great. Sans Tristan De Silva and Sans like maybe Jet Howard and Anthony Black, who are somewhat respectable at times. Um, I think it's time to really start consolidating um, your assets. I don't know what assets they have. I know they spent some assets getting Desmond Bain. Um, this bench sucks. This bench sucks. Um, Especially considering like a lot of the bench doesn't shoot either. Um, I think the right thing to do, especially at this trade deadline, if you can attempt to do it, like Jonathan Isaac needs to go. Jonathan Isaac doesn't do anything anymore. Like he just doesn't. Um, he just doesn't do anything for me. For me personally, like there's just nothing that Jonathan Isaac does that pops out to me anymore. He's just a net neutral player. Um, Goga Badatse, nice player. Maybe not somebody you want on this team long term. Um, and then do you really want to let go of Anthony Black, Jet Howard, Jace Richardson, who really hasn't played that much? Um, you're gonna have to start making some calls here about like who's a boss, who is not boss, but like who fits this team and who doesn't. Because if your top five players, like these top five guys, Paulo, Franz, Wendell, Desmond, Suggs, fit together so well, and then some that equally so poorly, your bench needs to be the ones that fit together. And I don't feel like this bench fits together at all. And it's a thing they're gonna have to change at midseason, or this might be another lost season for them. Um, Moving on to the Hawks. Like I said, I don't have a lot of notes about the Hawks because they just played well. They literally did everything right. They did what they were supposed to do. And I sat here in this chair last year, and I said I really like this Hawks team without Trae Young. And I wasn't insinuating to try to trade Trae Young, get Trae Young out of there. Trae Young's in a contract year, so you don't really want to trade him. Maybe he plays down his value. Maybe you can get him on a cheaper deal, whatever the case may be. But I said last year I like this team without Trae Young, and that was a team without Nikhil Alexander Walker. That was a team without Kristaps Porzingis. That was a team without um, Muhammad Guy, who has shown flashes more. This was a team without some of these other guys, but it was a team with some of the guys that were on this team that were on the team last year that have stepped up, and they continue to step up. Jalen Johnson, 17 points, 6 rebounds. 5 assists, 1 steal. Zachary Richache, their draft pick from a couple from last year, um, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 of 8 from 3. Um, Dyson Daniels, runner up for the Defensive Player of the Year, 18 points, 2 steals, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, um, 8 of 9 from field goal. And then you have guys who um, they got in the offseason. Kristaps Porzingis, 15 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 20 points, 2 assists, 1 block. He had 7 turnovers, but um, he was 3 of 5 from 3. Like the combination of talent on this team is really good, and I like this team last year without Trae Young. I like him without Trae Young this year. This is one of the first games without him, so a bit small of a sample size, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, it might be a dozen games before Trae Young comes back, so we'll see what they can patch together. Oneka Kongwu, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 1 block, 1 steal, 2 of 4 from 3. Hit some really good ones. Muhammad Guy, 5 points, 3 rebounds. Good energy, just good energy guy. Um, what do we have here? Vit Krejci, Vit Krejci, 7 points. Good for him. Yeah, they just did everything right, and um, this comes up a lot, and I've been trying to focus on it a bit more. But Gwen Snyder, the coach for the Atlanta Hawks, outcoached Jamal Mosley, outcoached him, and that's sort of why they won this game, because end of a road trip for the Magic, home game for the Atlanta Hawks without Trae Young. Energy was good, vibes was good. That's why they won this game. They just wanted it more, and they played like they wanted it more. Um, Moving on here to a more of a. This was an interesting game for about a half, and then it wasn't so interesting. um, Oklahoma City in LA to play the Clippers. The final score was 126 Oklahoma, 107 the Clippers. This was one of the better teams that played the Oklahoma City Thunder last year. Um, they played them very well. I thought it was one of the better matchups for the Clippers in playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Clippers were down a lot of bodies. No Kawhi. That was my first note. I found out Kawhi wasn't playing when I turned on the game. No Bradley Beal either. So it was just James Harden and the guys. Um, it looked good. It looked really good. I was really impressed for about half half a game, and then we'll get into my notes here about some of the stuff that I saw. But um, I was like, oh my god, the Clippers look really good. And then the rage started to catch up with them, and they didn't look so good. To start off this game, one of my first notes is James Harden and Shai Alexander were having a free throw competition. Both guys were getting calls early. They were making their shots early as well. James Harden hit some crazy threes in the first half. Some like vintage James Harden threes. SGA getting to his mid range, getting to his layups, stuff like that. Both getting fouled on those shot attempts and shot makes. Um, my second note here, this is like early, like mid first quarters. Like the Thunder looked a little human. This was the first time like I saw the Thunder look like, oh, they actually look kind of beatable. They look really like normal. They look like a normal team, that's going through the course of a season that maybe, hey, this is a team again that could give the Oklahoma City Thunder a run for their money. And then they didn't. um, James Harden had a great first quarter, really good stuff. Led this team, um, not just with his shots, but with his misdirection, with gaining the attention from um, other defenders not being named. Lou Dort that was on him primarily, that he got in foul trouble early, that James Harden got Lou Dort in foul trouble. Um, Kason Wallace got the assignment on him next, and Kason Wallace did a bit better of a job, but not too much better, slowed him down a little bit, and I guess tired him out enough to make him have a bad half the next half. Um, and then Oklahoma City made a run at the end of the first half, and they started to look more like themselves. My other note here is that this is more in the second and third quarter, jumping ahead a little bit. John Collins for the Clippers, his athleticism was so important and so important trying to keep them in this game. And I said it in the moment, previewing this team, this Clippers team. It's like John Collins is going to be so important because he's one of the younger guys on this team. He's going to provide some energy. He's going to provide some athleticism. And it was on display this game. John Collins ended the game 17 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 assist. Um, was around the rim for the most part, caught some lobs, had some putbacks, some good stuff. Um, it started falling apart because Shea started going off. Oh, excuse me, I'm yawning. SGA started going off, um, recovering from his bad first half, ended the game with 30 points, 12 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 blocks, 9 for 14 overall from field goal, and then 4 or 5 from three. Hit some really critical threes that brought them back into this game. And some other guys that hit some threes. Isaiah Joe hit some threes, 22 points. Aaron Wiggins, 12 points for them. Really good stuff. Kason Wallace had some good moments. 12 points, 2 of 4 from three. Mostly on defense for Kason Wallace. Um, Losing Dort wasn't really effective this game, but at least was out there. And then you have the bigs in the middle, Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. At times, um, look decently okay, but still look sort of like I don't even know how to say it. Just average against like this Clippers team with some really seasoned bigs. I mean, you have a Vincent Zubac, you have Brook Lopez, um, John Collins is here. He's not necessarily a big, but he plays big. Derrick Jones Jr. looked really good this game. Nicholas Batum looked good defensively. Had some moments, but you didn't really need the bigs to show up, in Chet and Isaiah here. It was the forwards, it was the guards. Again, Shea, um, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, AJ Mitchell also was in this game, played some good minutes for them. 4 steals for AJ Mitchell, four in 20 minutes. Um, and then early in the third, they started trading shots. This is when it started to fall apart for the Clippers. And then it really fell apart. End of the third, the Oklahoma City Thunder kept pushing, and they had gained a small lead, literally like a 3-point lead. I think at the end of the third, the Clippers made a three to cut it to a 3-point lead, a 3-point deficit, and a 3-point lead for Oklahoma. And then the fourth quarter happened, and the Clippers started showing their age, and the Oklahoma City started showing their depth. Um, just guys out of left field you wouldn't expect. Like they would collapse on Shea and um, Aaron Wiggins would be there. Isaiah Joe would be there. Um, Jalen Williams would be there. Jalen Williams got beat up this game. He got a black eye and he got stitches above his eye. It was a rough game for for Jalen Williams, but yeah, the everybody else has showed up for the Oklahoma City Thunder down the stretch. Obviously, Shea again um, had an impressive second half. Like he's typically done throughout the course of this beginning of the season. He has some bad first halves and then he heats up in the second. Sort of tires out the other team. Obviously, that's in due in part to his style of play, but also the Oklahoma City Thunder just keep running and running and running and running and shooting threes and cutting and getting putbacks and getting lobs and all this stuff. And um, they really tired out this Clippers team. And by the end, um, Ty Lue pulled the starters a bit early, but it's early in the season, so I understand it. This is an older team, but man, oh man, it was a rough one. It was a rough one. And my last note here is the Clippers had it. They lost it after lost the game after they let the Thunder shoot a bunch of threes, and that was pretty much it. Um, some positives for the Clippers: 16 points for Derrick Jones Jr. Good stuff. 25 for James. Um, 17 for John Collins. Brook Lopez 12. Bogdan Bogdanovic 11. He was the only one that was really competitive down the stretch. Um, when they had the bench in for this team, when it was like John Collins, Brook Lopez, Chris Paul, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and like one of the starters, it looked okay, and then it didn't look okay. um, I I knew this was the way it was gonna go after I saw Kawhi wasn't gonna play in this game. I knew this was the way it was gonna go, but you sort of have some hope, and you're like, oh, the Clippers could do it, and they didn't do it. The Clippers moved to 3-4 on the season, and the Oklahoma City Thunder moved to a franchise best to start a season 8-0. Undefeated at home, undefeated away. Have played 4 away games, 4 home games. Um, Incredible stuff for the defending champs. And we're right at 30 minutes. I do want to talk about this this Nets Minnesota game, but my real my real my real thing I really want to talk about in this game, and we'll just cut right to it, is that it's Michael Porter Jr. didn't play this game, um, but his Nets team looks so bad. I have seen some bad NBA teams in my many years of watching the league. I've seen some really bad ones, some super bad ones. This is like an all time ass team, just an aster class, a master class of ass. Really bad, and it's not bad because they can't score. They scored 109 points, which is you might say, oh, the Timberwolves defense let them score 109. You have one, two, three, four, five people in double digits. Was it? Oh no, yeah, 5 people in double digits. Two people near it. Um, this team is just bad, and it feels like they have minimal direction. It feels like when Cam Thomas isn't out there, who was the leading scorer for this for the game. Yeah, tied for the leading scorer for the game. Isn't out there. They just look bad, and I just wanted to point that out and still say they are winless, 0-7. One of the only winless teams, right? I believe that's the statistic now. Um, yeah, they are the last team without a without a win. The New Orleans Pelicans got to win the other night, so um, Nets last man standing, of bottom of the league. That's the only note I really wanted to say about this. um, some other notes here, some other injury stuff I want to just catch up on here. Trae Young out, knee will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. So yeah, there's that. LaMelo Ball day to day. Brandon Miller out for the Hornets. Um, Ooh, okay. So yeah, the Chicago Bulls still had a game winner last night. They have what is this? Kobe White's been out. I haven't even noticed Kobe White's been out, to be honest. They've been so good without Kobe White. I was like, oh yeah, he's not playing. He's gonna make his season debut in the next few weeks. Good for him. Cavs are still beat up. Um, Hunter's still injured. Questionable. Sam Merrill out. Jared Allen questionable finger. Darius Garland's still out. Max Strus still out. Um, Derek Lively's out tonight. Anthony Davis out. Calf has been. Oh yeah, he's still out with that. Damn. Um, Jamal Murray day to day. Let's see here. Jimmy Butler day to day. Back is questionable to play against um, the the Kings tonight. Steph Curry's also he's confirmed out. He's out with an illness, so he will not play in the Sacramento game. Um, yeah, he won't play. Let's see here. Dorian Finney-Smith still out for the Rockets. Jabari Smith questionable ankle. Steven Adams hip questionable. The the Pacers are just injured all the way around. We can skip past them. Yeah, Lakers got some guys injured, but there's some of these are just precautionary. Other ones of these are just actually injured. Um, Moving past some of these teams, Kevin Porter Jr. is still out for the Bucks. Unfortunately, Anthony Edwards remains out. It was reported that Zion Williamson is still out, or is going to be out and missed at least missed 1 week with a calf strain. That's not good. Their season's already down the toilet, so that's not even better. Currently, Towns is day to day with an illness in his game against Minnesota. That's tonight. Let's see here. Anybody else? Anybody else? Um, oh my god. So there's a note here, right? For the Sixers, and it's a Jared McCain note. Jared McCain did play. Um, he played. Did he? Oh yeah, he played. Okay, so he played. The note here, there's name, there's position, there's estimated return date, there's status, and then there's like a comment on like when they got injured or like when they're returning or anything like that. And it says November 5th, Jared McCain chipped in with 0 points, and that just made me giggle. Um, Anything else here for the Dylan Brooks is out for the Suns. Jalen Green still has not made his appearance, his debut for the Suns. Let's see. Zach Levine is questionable back. Demontis bonus. Ribs is questionable. Keegan Murray is out. Thumb, we knew that one. Dylan Harper strained his calf. When was multiple weeks. That was reported a couple days ago. And the big one that was just reported literally this hour that I'm recording this. Walker Kessler is going to be out for the rest of the season. Um, with a will undergo. Okay, so let me read it verbatim here from Shams Sharani of ESPN. Utah's Walker Kessler will undergo season-ending shoulder surgery to return to repair a torn labrum. That is devastating. I had the Utah Jazz going over the win total, the projected win total, and I don't know if they could do it without Walker Kessler. So we'll see. That's the biggest one. That's some injury updates. Um, yeah, tonight's Wednesday games. Coming up tonight, ESPN Wednesday, you have Minnesota in New York. You have San Antonio in Los Angeles. So there should be some good games tonight. We'll talk about them tomorrow. And then yeah, and then when's the next game? You have an ESPN game on Saturday, Phoenix in LA. We'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, that is the games for the last couple of days. If you like what I say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. Cheers.